Hello everybody, welcome back to another session on Python programming. Today we'll again go ahead with some kind of exercises for understanding the selection constructs. And once those selection constructs are over, then we'll go ahead with iterative construct. Python 3.10 introduced one more feature in selection construct. That is something that I'll be discussing today. But before we go ahead with that, all those who have solved the earlier assignment, please share it onto the chat window. I see only Harsh sharing the assignment. The rest of you have not yet submitted the assignment. So I expect all of you who have solved it, share the assignment so that we can go ahead discussing the same. Okay, Kaustubh has shared. What about others? Okay, only two, Kaustubh and Kaustubh. Kaustubh, how come you have submitted two assignments? What's different in both?
Sir, I have solved it in two different ways.
Okay, two different ways. That's good. Others, why haven't you solved the assignment? There is no point in me only discussing the solutions while you do not make an attempt to solve. It's important that you solve. You may go wrong, I don't mind, but then you have to solve that particular assignment. Unless you don't solve, how can we proceed further? Okay. So what I'll do today, I'll still give some time to solve that assignment. And next session, we'll discuss the solutions only with those who solve the assignment. That's how it is. That means even if your solution is right or wrong, that doesn't matter. But unless you do not submit the solution, you will not be a part of the discussion for the solution. Simple. So this was an assignment that you have to solve. What I expected is like everybody to make an attempt. So unless you don't make an attempt, what's the point? So I want all of you to make an attempt to solve. Those who don't have the assignment, please let me know. I'll share the problem statement once again with you all. Today, as far as Python goes, there is one more construct in selection topic that Python has, that was introduced in Python. And that's called as match. So let's talk about what this concept of match case is all about. So that was the latest addition in the last version, that is 3.10. So 3.10 made one additional feature that was introduced called as match, but we haven't yet discussed the concept of the and and or. So let's first discuss the concept of and or, and then we'll go ahead with match. So we have two Boolean operators. You can call those Boolean operators, like you can identify them as and or. So what those operators are and how do we go ahead using those operators? Let's quickly have a discussion about the same. So what we plan to discuss today is the Boolean operators. Here we go. Can you see the screen?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you see on the screen?
Boolean operators.
Only that much, or you also see yourself on the screen?
No, only that.
Okay. What has happened is today, since there is some setting issue, I can see two screens. Let me just do a bit of adjustment. Let us have only one screen. Two desktops have got created. I'm at ease. I have only one desktop, so we can now start. So what we have this concept of Boolean operators. So what are the Boolean operators which are currently available for us? So what they are used for? They are used to combine the result of other tests to produce new truth value. That means if I have some conditional test, if I'm putting some condition wherein I'm using some operators like relational operators like less than, less than equal to, greater than equal to. If I say A greater than B, the result of this particular thing will either be true or false. It will either be true or it will be false. But that's just one condition. If there is some other relational condition and its result also we would like to combine with the previous test result, in that case, we go with this and or. So if I can say X and Y, X is the result of one expression, relational expression. Y is also a result of another relational expression. Now, relational expression, when I use this term, I mean any expression which uses the operators like equal to, not equal to, less than equal to, greater than equal to, less than, greater than, whose result is only either true or false. So X can be something either true or false. Y can be again either true or false. So X and Y, if both these X and Y, both of them are true, then the result of this AND expression is also true. Whereas in the second one, X or Y, if one of the expression is true, either X or Y, the result of this expression is true. Not X, that means if X is true, not X will give you false. And if X is false, not X will give you true. So it will toggle the result of the expression and so on. So Boolean operators and NOR operators return a true or a false object. Now listen, this word object is very important because when we talk about Boolean value, true or false, we think about it is a value of type Boolean, which is either true or false. That doesn't happen in Python, especially when you use and or operator. So when I use this and or operator, it returns you an object. It says returns a true or a false object in Python, not the values true or false. Now I'll explain this with help of some example. It will not return you value true or false, it will return you an object. Now, what do you mean by object? Oh, object that represents true or object that represents false, that is what it returns. In all other languages, when you use this and an operator, you get only value true or value false. That's what you get. This is the only language where you get an object as a return value, not the result of the expression as true or false. So and or operators always return an object. They do not return you value true and false. They return object, either the object on the left-hand side of the operator or the object on the right-hand side of the operator. That means when you write this AND condition, either I'll get an object on the left-hand side, that is X, or I'll get Y. So here, when we said X and Y, or X or Y, in both the cases, we will not get true or false. If both X and Y represents true, the result is true, but then it will not return you TRUE, it will return you either X or Y, whichever represents true. X or Y, in this case, if both are true, then it will return an object. Now the question is, which object will return? Will it return X or will it return Y? That we really need to understand. So it says, and an OR operator always returns an object. Either the object on the left-hand side, that was X, or the object on the right-hand side, that was Y. For OR test, Python evaluates operand object from left to right and returns the first one that is true. So if you have something, A or B or C, whichever is the first one, left operator, which is true, that will return. Now, when I use the word true, you need to understand the property of truthness in Python. What is true and what is false? Anything which is empty is false. Anything which is not empty is true in Python. Not empty. Yeah? Moreover, Python stops at the first true value it finds, that is short circuit evaluation. So when you combine more than one expression using logical OR, it will not even evaluate all the ORs. The first OR which comes out to be true, the first object which comes out to be true, to stop over there, it will return you that true object. So if I say true or 3, it will give you 2. If I say 4 or 2, it will give you 4, because 2 is also true, 4 is also true, because only 0 represents false, any other non-zero value represents true. So it has written you 2 and 4. If I say empty list or 3, the empty list will represent false. Anything which is empty is false, whereas 3 is true, they will return you 3. If I give empty set, empty list and an empty set, so list is empty, so you will go on finding. It did not find anything which is true. Then the last operand it will return, that is the whatever is the last operand. All of them are false, it will return the last operand, that is empty set. Now, if you look at AND, Python's AND operator also stops as soon as the result is known. However, in case of Python, evaluates the operator from left to right and stop if the left operand is false, because it determines the result. False is anything that is always false. The result false, and anything that is always false. Now, what is false? Anything which is empty is false. 0 is false. So in this case, if I say 2 and 3, so 2 is not false, but 3 is also not false. So the last one it will return. 4 is not false, 2 is also not false, so it will return 2. So the difference in the previous one was it returned the first one that is true, and here it returns the first one which is not false. If I give empty set and empty list and empty set, the first one which is false, it will return. If I say 3 and an empty set, 3 is true, whereas empty set is false, or empty list is false, it will return that. So what is false, that it will return. So and returns true if both the statements are true, or returns true if one of the statement is true, and whereas not, reverse the result return. That means if it is false, it will return true, it is true, it will return false. Now, to understand this particular concept, we need to go ahead with some kind of examples. So what I'll do is, today I'll start with another IDE, and that's one of my favorite IDE called as Spider. So today's program will be writing in Spider to explore this particular feature. So let's go ahead with and or examples. So let me take up and or examples for and, or, and not. 3 examples we have to take. One is and, other is or, and third is not. So let's take up 3 examples to understand this particular behavior. And we'll take a problem statement, and with in the context of the problem statement, we'll try and understand how does it really work. Let's first get comfortable with this concept of Boolean data type. And then we'll talk about and or as well along with it. So let's start with understanding the Boolean type. Here we go. And today what I'll do is I'll use the debugger that is available here. It's much more easy. And what does it say? A Boolean value is either true or false, that we know. It is named after a British mathematician called as George Boole, who first formulated Boolean algebra. Some rules for reasoning about combining these values. This is the basis for all modern computer logic. In Python, 2 Boolean values are true and false. Okay, T has to be capital, T has to be capital, and F has to be false. F has to be capital. So that's true and false that we have. I can very well create a variable wherein I can very well create a variable which has been assigned value as true or false. So let me just drag this and write some code. So here again, we can write some code in Python. So that's the place where we can write some code. Let me do that for you. I say I have some variable x. I want to assign value true. That's possible. So that's true. If I say print x, the x ka value is true. So it will say true. I could say x is equal to FALSC false. And if I want to print x, it will say it's false. So we have 2 different values, true and false. So if I check what's the type of x, it will say it's Boolean. The type of x is Boolean right now. That's a Boolean type of data that we have. Now we need to get the Boolean values. So here is where you can see your results now. So you have आपके results दिखाई देंगे. We'll try and reduce the font size slightly by going to कहाँ जाएंगे? Tools, preferences. Tools, preferences. I'll just try and reduce the font size slightly. Here we go. It says console का font size 18 चाहिए क्या? I say no, 14 चाहिए. Yeah, मैं कहता हूँ 14 चाहिए. Let me say apply. And okay. Is that font size okay? Are yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I reduce the font size. So note, if I have to debug, it's far more easy as compared to ideally to debug this particular code. So if I'm thinking of debugging this particular code now, the only thing that I do is I go to the left hand side of this margin and just click over here. So debug is the break watch has been added. So if I have to debug the code now, so I'll go ahead debugging the code. So here are various options which are available for us. Here I can run the code, and here is where I actually go ahead debugging the code. So here we go. It says this code has been executed. We are at line number 20 right now. We are at line number 20. Can you see that arrow behind this dot? So it says x is equal to 50. Now watch, the variable explorer is over here on the top left, top right, you can see all the variables. Currently there are no variables, so nothing is seen, but very soon you will get to see variables. So I go to the next statement. Can you see this x variable of type integer with value 50 has been created over here? Can you see at the top?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Likewise, y is a variable, another variable that we have created whose value is 30. So two variables have got created, x and y. X is 50, y is 30. Now I check x equal to y. Whether both these values are the same, is 50 equal to 20, 30, that condition is false. So in this case, when I execute this particular statement, x equal to y, the result has to turn out to be false. We did not print the result. It was better if you had gone ahead printing the result. Here, what is happening is it's just saying next, next, next. It is not printing the result. So instead, what I'll do is I'll write a statement over here saying print. Here, I'll write print x equal to y, just to see the result. Likewise, over here also I'll say print x not equal to y. I'd like to see the result. And then x. Now these are all relational operators that we are using. All these are example equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than. These are all relational operators. Relational operator either return you values true or false. But in Python, there is more to this concept of true and false. Anything which is zero is false. Anything which is empty is also false. The rest everything is true. I just taken up some variables over here, and here also I'll write. And we are more interested in knowing what is the result. Okay, so we are again at line number 20. I again debug this particular program. I start with debugging. Let's start all over again. Here we are, x equal 50, and then we go to the next line, and two variables have been created, and then we say print x equal to y. It has given you answer as false. Correct? I say x not equal to y, you answer as true. देखिए यहाँ answer true आ गया है, x not equal to y. Then I'm saying x greater than y, x का value 50 है, y का value 30 है, 50 greater than 30, condition is true, so it gives you true. X less than y, condition is false. I hope you can see we are at line number 26 right now, and we are checking. Here we are, line number 26, x greater than equal to y. Is 50 greater than equal to 30? That's true. True आ गया, देखो यहाँ right hand side को answer. Okay. Then I'm saying x less than or equal to y. Oh, that's false. That's false. Now x is having some tilt character, or it could have been empty. Currently, it is having some tilt character. And then ABCD. I'm checking is tilt equal to ABCD. It says false. X equal to y. I can go to else part and say it is false. I say x ka value is 0.0. And then I'm saying if x. So 0 is also false. So it says false. Point is anything which is empty is also false. And anything that is 0 is also false. So abhi x equal to empty string. If it's empty string, that's also false. Look at that. That's again false. If it is not an empty string, then it is true. Look at that. It is true. If x is an empty set or empty dictionary, okay, in that case, that's also false. X is a non-empty set. So that is true. It's not empty. That's true. X is negative value. Negative value is also true. Okay. X is an instance of type integer. No, currently X is pointing to storing a value of type float. So that's false. Okay. X is an instance of type float. That's true. So that's how we identify what is true and what is false. Let me know quickly, have you understood what is true and what is false in Python? Quick feedback, everybody.
Yes.
Everybody. Quick feedback. I'm waiting for your feedback, everybody. Vikrant, have you understood what is true and what is false? Okay. Now, before I go ahead with another example, let's go through some points. All objects have inherent Boolean true or false value. Set is also having true or false value. Empty set is false, non-empty set is true. Empty string is false, non-empty string is true. So every type of object has inherent Boolean value, either true or false. Any non-zero number or non-empty object is true. Anything which is non-empty, anything which is not zero is true. Zero numbers, empty object, and special object, none, are considered to be false. So none is another type of object. अगर उसकी value none है, that is also false. Comparison for equality are applied recursively to the data structure. Comparison for equality test returns either true or false. Boolean and or operator returns either true or false. Operand object, तो left hand side का operand या right side का object operand, it is what it will return. Operators, there is a concept of short circuit evaluation. Moment the result of the entire expression is known, it will not go ahead evaluating the rest of the expression. I'll explain this with help of example. So that was about true and false. Just keep in mind, if it is empty, it is false. If it is not empty, it is true. The basic things you have to keep in mind. Anything which is empty is false. Anything which is not empty is true. Okay. And और क्या कहा हमने?
Non-zero.
Non-zero value is true and zero is false. If it is non-zero, it is true, and if it is zero, it is false. I wonder why my face appears red while your color is very nice. Better. More natural color than the reddish color that was actually seen. Okay, let's continue. So let's go ahead with an example that will help us understand this concept of truthness. So what I'll do is, now that we had seen with set and with list all the things that we had seen, let me go ahead with some additional examples. Let us understand concept of and first. How does it really work? Now suppose for and to work correctly, both the things have to be evaluated to true. Okay, both the conditions should evaluate to true. So let's take one example over here. I say, what's your name and what's your password? So I'm going to welcome that fellow if his name and password are correct. So the user whose name is Jay, uska password Tiger hai. User whose name is Kiran, uska password Tommy hai. So if the username and the password matches, both of them matches, then I'm going to say welcome. Others are going to say, sorry, I don't know. So and what it will check? If the name is also correct and the password is also correct, both the things match. So let's jumpstart from here. So how do I do that? I debug. The first two lines have got executed. We are at line number 6. If you can see, it says, what's your name? I say, my name is Lala. What's your password? I say the password is suppose pink. A password could be anything. Huh? So we're at line number 6 right now. So is name equal to Jay? Apna name to dekho yahan Lala hai. Is Lala equal to Jay? True or false?
False.
False.
and password equal tiger.
False.
Now listen, we made one statement over here that it uses something called as short circuit. या statement लिखा था हमने short circuit, क्या आप देख पा रहे हो?
Yes, sir.
We had used something called as short circuit. Now this short circuit comes into action here. So what happens? When I say name equal to J, is this condition true or false?
False.
False. Listen to me very carefully. Even if the password was tiger, false and true result is false. Yes or no? Boolean mathematics, what you must have done. False
Yes.
and true is false. For and to evaluate true, both the conditions should be true.
Yes, sir.
Okay. तो अगर जय आपने दिया था और नाम समझो पिंक नहीं था, नाम समझो टाइगर ही था, so let me type tiger. I made changes in the memory. ये वेरिएबल का वैल्यू चेंज कर सकते हैं हम लोग ऐसे मेमोरी में जाके. So I went to the memory and change ये लाला ही है, whereas password is tiger. So it will check, is name equal to J? Name Lala equal to J? True or false?
False.
False. So it will not even check for the next condition. That's called as short circuit evaluation. That means if the result of the entire expression is known, so it is waste of time evaluating the rest of the expression, because whenever more than one expressions are combined together using logical and, if any expression evaluates to false, the rest of the expressions are skipped. Why is it skipped? Because there is no point. आगे जाके true भी आएगा तो भी फायदा नहीं है, because false and anything is false. Okay, so please make a note. Short circuit evaluation. Write down short circuit evaluation. अभी ये देखिए false है तो you go to line number 8. It'll check क्या name equal to Kiran है क्या? False है. So it will not even check password क्या है. It will not even check that. It will go here and say I don't know. So given heading as short circuit evaluation, we'll just write few statements about it before we proceed further. Right on. If more than one expressions are combined together using logical and, if more than one expressions are combined together using logical and, if more than one expressions are combined together using logical and, if any expression evaluates to false, 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 the rest of the expressions are skipped. The rest of the expressions are skipped. Full stop. This is because false and anything is false. False and anything is false. False and anything is false. Next, if more than one expressions are combined together using logical or, if more than one expressions are combined together using logical or, if more than one expressions are combined together using logical or, using logical or, if any expression evaluates to true, if any expression evaluates to true, if any expression evaluates to true, the rest of the expressions are skipped. If any expression evaluates true, the rest of the expressions are skipped. The rest of the expressions are skipped. Rest of the expressions are skipped. This is because false. This is because true or anything is true. This is because true or anything is true. This is because true or anything is true. So that is about short circuit evaluation. So let's have a look at the code all over again. Here we had AND. So let's run the code once again. I'm executing the code. I've been asked to enter the name. Suppose my name is Jay. I entered it correctly. Jay. Case is also right. And the password is suppose TIGR, tiger. And T has to be capital, tiger. It checks. Kya name equal to Jay hai kya? Yes. Kya password equal to tiger hai kya? Yes, excuse me. When both the conditions, both the statements evaluate to true, then we'll go inside and say welcome to Jay. Dekhiye, it goes inside and says welcome to Jay. But remember, in yesterday, if any condition evaluates to true, so this combined condition has now evaluated true. The rest of the statements will also be skipped. Then he execute karega. Sorry. ये line number 7 execute करेगा and control will come out of the construct. देखिए तो बात खत्म. Program is over. So it just said welcome Jay. None of the if conditions have got executed. तो short circuit evaluation क्या था? If one is true, तो दूसरा भी check करेगा. And है तो और है तो if and में दोनों condition have to be evaluated true. But for it to check for the second condition, the precondition is अगर पहला true है, only then it will check for the second condition. Because अगर पहला false है, तो false and anything is false doesn't matter. आपका next condition true है या false है, इससे कोई मतलब नहीं होता है. Because पहला अगर false है, तो false and anything is false, so it will skip this expression. कौन सा expression? Tiger password equal tiger. ये expression skip करेगा. Short circuit evaluation because final result has been already arrived at. Since the final result is arrived at, it will not waste its time checking for the rest of the condition. So let's look at OR concept now. The condition over here is slightly different. It says, check whether the traveler is eligible for concession in fares. Senior citizens' kids are eligible for concession. Who is a senior citizen? जिसकी उम्र 60 से ज़्यादा है, 60 या 60 से ज़्यादा है, he is a senior citizen. Anybody who is 12 or less than 12 is a kid. So only citizens, senior citizens and kids are eligible for concession. So what do? We define a final variable, minimum age for senior, that is 60, and max age for junior or kid is 12. I ask the user to enter the age of the traveler in years. We convert into an integer. And then I'm checking. If age less than or equal to max age for kid, यानी 12 या 12 से कम है क्या? Or age greater than or equal to minimum age for senior. Either of the two conditions is true, it will go ahead saying travel is eligible for concession. So let's have an example over here. So we'll jump start from here. I'll debug this particular code from that line. We are at line number 19 right now. I execute that line 19. It says, please enter the age of the traveler. Watch it very carefully. I'm going to enter somebody's age as 10 years. I'm entering age as 10 years. So tell me, is 10 less than or equal to 12?
Yes, sir.
Or is age, that is 10, greater than or equal to 60?
No.
It will not even check for this condition. The reason for that is first condition true tha. True or anything is true. So if when more than one condition, तो एक condition है और एक दूसरा condition है, if they have been joined, combined together using logical OR, if any expression evaluates true, the rest of the expressions are ignored. आगे वाले सारे ignore हो जाएंगे. Because true or anything is true. In this case, age is 10 10 लेस देन 12 है क्या? ट्रू है. बट 10 ग्रेटर देन 60 है क्या? फॉल्स है. तो अगर ये चेक भी कर देता तो इन दैट केस this condition, since it's already true or false is also true. So it will go here and say you are eligible for concession. देखो कहा रहा है traveler is eligible for concession in fares. For this to value to false, both the conditions should be false. So let's run the code once again. Here we go. We have been asked enter the input age of the year, travel in years. So I enter age as suppose 77. अब याद अरे कुछ गलत हो गया. दो इंस्टेंस से स्टार्ट हो गए. I pressed 2 times looks like. Let's run the code once again. Here we go. We are at line number 19. अरे यार क्या कर रहा हूं मैं? I debug the code once again. We are at line number 19. We have been asked, please enter the age of the traveler. I see the age of the traveler is 78. Now tell me, is 78 less than or equal to 12?
No.
False.
False. False or anything is not false. So it has to go and check for second condition. It will now check. Is 78 greater than or equal to 60?
Yes.
True.
True.
The false or true is also true. So this fellow is also eligible for concession. 78 years is also eligible for concession. One of the condition has to be true. Let's run the code once again. This time round, we have been asked to enter the age of the traveler and he's 50 years old. 50, yeah? Now tell me, is 50 less than or equal to 12?
Yes.
क्या बात कर रहे हैं? Is 50 less than or equal
False.
to 12?
False.
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 Is 50 greater than or equal to 60?
False.
False. दोनों false है. Then only this entire expression value to false. False है तो else में जाएगा saying traveler is not eligible for concession. Else and says traveler is not eligible for concession in fare. ऐसा क्यों हुआ? Because false or false is also false. So it goes to this statement says traveler is not eligible for concession in travel. So have you all understood this and or concept? किसी को कोई question है क्या? Yes, anybody have any question and or before we go with some examples for it? I'll share this and or example, but before that, I'll also take up an example of not. Okay, because there are 3 Boolean operators and or and not. Not negates the result of an expression. And regarding this or, Sunita and Vikrant, क्या problem है? पूछे question. आपको क्या query है? Sunita and Vikrant, what is the query that you have?
So you said in or, if any of the expression is true, then the rest are ignored,
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
Okay,
And always check from left to right.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Vikrant, what's the doubt?
No, sir.
So tick karo. You understood. Okay. So let me first share these 2 examples with you for quick reference. Let's take one more example for and so that there's no confusion. For multiple conditions which have been combined together using logical and, for that entire expression to be valid to true, all the conditions should be true. All the conditions should be true. एक क्वेश्चन भी देता हूँ, करे आप सॉल्व करें तो ये रूल था. Now, first let's look at not. What does not do? It negates the result of the expression. True answer true आया है तो उसे false करेगा, false आया है तो उसे true करेगा. It will negate. That means whatever is the answer will get exactly opposite to it. Okay. So let's take an example to understand it. First, what I'll do is I'll show it in the console itself, and then we'll discuss an example. Let me show it in the console. Say here, if I say 10 greater than 20, ये true or false है?
False.
False है. Correct? You are right. Had I said 10 less than 20, ये true or false है?
True.
True है. You are smart. But what I could do is I could negate the result of section, not 10 greater than 20. It will say true. I could say not 10 less than 20. With 10 less than 20 is true. So not true becomes false. 10 less than 20 true hai. So not true becomes false and not false becomes true. Like I could directly check if I had said true, I get answer as true. But if I say not true, I'll get answer as false. If I had just said false, it'll get false. But if I say not false, I'll get true. Understood this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So let's take an example to understand this. I would like to check whether student has passed or failed. The condition is if you have secured 35, minimum 35 marks, you are passed, otherwise you are failed. And less than 35 रहेगा तो fail है, greater than 35 रहेगा तो pass है. Okay. So here we're going to jump. I'll debug the code and asking the user to enter the marks. So we are here at line number 13 and we ask, please enter the percentage marks out of 100. Somebody is very smart. He has secured 75%. Now tell me, is 75 greater than or equal to minimum pass percentage? That is 35. Is 75 greater than or equal to 35?
True.
True hai. So if it is true, it will go to line number 16. It will say, hooray, you have passed. Again, hooray, you have passed. मैं चेक करता हूँ इस परसेंटेज मार्क लेस देन मिनिमम परसेंटेज मार्क लेस देन 35 है क्या? क्या 75 लेस देन 35 है क्या?
False.
False है.
False.
So in that case, I go to else part and I'll say, hooray, you have passed. अगर less than 35 होते तो I will say, sorry, you have failed. So I say, if percentage less than minimum percentage, बताइए percentage 75 less than 35 है क्या?
False.
False
False.
अभी देखा था हमने. अब मैं कह रहा हूँ not false. तो not false है तो true है. तो बोलेगा hooray, you have passed.
Yes.
So it will negate the result of the expression. Let's take other way around. Let's run the code once again. This time around, when I have been asked to enter the percentage marks, I enter my percentage marks 23. And I'm checking. Is 23 greater than or equal to 35?
False.
False. So it goes to line number 18. देखो जरा ये line number 18 पे जा रहा है. It says sorry, you have failed. Okay. Is 23 less than 35?
True.
True है. So that's also failed. So we say sorry, you have failed. अब यहाँ क्या लिखा है? Is 23 less than 35?
True.
True. Not true.
False.
False है तो it will go to else part. Else में लिखा आपने sorry, you have failed. So this is a negative logic. If you remember, we had discussed, which you should not use. It is only adding to confusion. But sometimes it makes more logical sense to use this not operator. Use it. I am saying use it sparingly. जहाँ तक हो सके. और अरे मैंने प्रोग्राम शेयर किए क्या सबको या सिर्फ गलती से हर्ष को भी सबमिट किए शेयर किए बाकी लोगों को मिले या नहीं प्रोग्राम्स
Yes, sir.
No.
तो बता रहे क्यों नहीं आई मिस्टेकनली आई शेयर्ड ओनली विद हर्ष हर्ष आपको मिले थे
Yes, sir.
तो बताना सर गलती से आपने सिर्फ मुझे ही शेयर किया बाकी दोस्तों को नहीं किया सर आपने
Sorry, sir. Direct message पे ध्यान देना.
it's okay there is no need to say sorry I was just joking have you all received and not travel example everybody
Yes, yes.
okay
Yes.
now that you understood this concept it's time for us to go ahead with an example okay And it's a very simple example. Shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes to solve. Take the question. Check if a citizen is eligible to work. Check if the citizen is eligible to work. That's the question. Huh? Check if the citizen is eligible to work. But what's the condition? Citizen with age in the range of 18 to 60 years are only eligible to work. यानी जिसकी उम्र 18 to 60 के बीच में है, including 18 and 60, only they can work. Anybody who is kid less than 18 cannot work. Anybody who is a senior citizen greater than 60 cannot work. So 18 to 60 चलेगा. You are allowed to work if you are greater than equal to 18 or less than equal to 60. Okay. Yeah. So here we go. That's the question. So how much time will you need to solve it? Tell me quick. 4-5 लाइन का कोड है या 10 लाइन का कोड है?
Sir, 4 lines.
Why? Okay, I give you 5 minutes. Start. Your time starts now. Okay, Shantanu has also submitted. Good. How about others? Chalo, you cannot take it lightly. If you don't write the code, believe me, I will not be in a position to help you. For me to understand your difficulty or for me to help you, you should write the code. The only way I'll understand you and help you out better is by looking at your code. So only 2 people, such a simple code. Only Harsha and Shantanu. What about others?
Sir, I'm writing it.
It shouldn't take so long. 4 line का code है. Okay, Sanjay has also submitted. Kaustubh, Rahul, Sunita, Vikrant, Prithviraj. करो जल्दी यार submit. Sunita, you can show me, send me a snap of your paper, notebook if you have written. Show me a snap. फोटो निकालो, व्हाट्सएप करो. व्हाट्सएप नहीं, चैट विंडो में डाल दो. That's also okay. Prithviraj and Rahul, what's the problem? Kaustubh, क्या प्रॉब्लम है बताइए.
सेंड किया है सर.
शेयर क्यों नहीं कर रहे?
सेंड किया है सर. 1 मिनट.
सुनीता, ये कंप्लीट नहीं है. कंप्लीट द कोड. सुनीता, ये इनकम्प्लीट है. कोड कंप्लीट कीजिएगा. Okay, now let's look at what you all have done. This is what Harsha submitted. He says minimum age to work is 18, max age to work is 60. Very good. From typing input final, he does that. Input what's the age of the citizen in years, and if age less than equal to max age of that is 18, and age greater than equal to minimum age of working. Achha, less than equal to max age and minimum less than equal to minimum age, then citizen is able to work, otherwise it's not eligible. Let's run this code and see. Suppose somebody's age is 21. The citizen is eligible to work. Let's run the code once again. I hope you can see where I'm seeing the result. Right hand side bottom. Somebody's age is suppose 12 years, not eligible. Very good. And somebody's age is 61 years, not eligible. So Harsh's code is perfect. I don't see any improvement that we can do except for a special case that is available. Let's look at whose code is this boolean.py. किसने लिखा है? अच्छा, शंतनु ने लिखा शायद. Final. Look at this. शंतनु, improvement चाहिए. When you define anything which is constant as a good programming practice, irrespective of which language you are working on, give the name in uppercase, because that's an indication, like what Harsh has done here. He has given minimum age to work and max age to work. Final है ना? तो capital में लिखेगा. That's just a convention.
Okay.
I know your code will run. Somebody's age is supposed 12. Error क्या दिया देखते हैं. तो 12 है. Please enter the age. आपने string ले लिया. You forgot to convert it into an integer,
sorry.
like what has to be done. So you had to convert it into an integer. And plus, आप कह रहे please enter your age. You need to give the unit of measurement in years. वगैरह कुछ तो कहना जरूरी था. If you do not give unit of measurement, कोई कहेगा मेरी उम्र 10 है, 10 दिन है, 10 साल या 10 decade, कैसे पता चलेगा? Then age is equal to minimum age and age is equal to max age. Congratulations, the rest is all right. Let's run the code now. Suppose somebody's age is 12 years, 21, कहता है congratulations, you are eligible. Somebody is suppose 12, कहता है sorry, okay, that's correct. Somebody is suppose 71, कहेगा sorry. So that rest is correct. Make changes, ये upper case में चाहिए था, like what Harsh has done.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's have a look at the other solutions that have been submitted. Line में चलते हैं. Next was submitted by Sanjay. Sanjay, magical numbers are not allowed, and plus it is error. Error क्यों है ये? आप कह रहे age greater than 18, तो 18 साल वाले बंदे का क्या? Age less than 60, तो 60 वाला eligible नहीं है क्या? 60 was also eligible to work. Enter the age of citizen in days, month, year, किस में बताया? नहीं बता रहे आप. Age greater than 18 नहीं, greater than or equal to 18 था, and less than equal to 60 था. But such magical 18 क्या है? 60 क्या है? Use named constant. So there are corrections to be made. उसके बाद किसने सबमिट किया था? पृथ्वीराज. Let's have a look at पृथ्वीराज score. ये कहाँ से आ गया? Total conditions ही गलत. 16 और 60 कहाँ से आया पृथ्वीराज? And plus the same thing. These magical numbers are not required. Okay, if there is a number which has a meaning, you should define a constant. If you don't define a constant, it's a bad practice. Okay, so that was a correction to be made. Who else? Rahul का कोड था एक. Rahul जहाँ का कोड है, कौस्तुभ का भी एक था. He says Kaustubh has gone further. He has also ensured he does validation. He says, if not age in digits, error input should be in digits. Perfect, very nice. So he has put in some extra efforts. Agar digits mein hai, then only he converts into an integer and then he carries out this operation. Very good, very good. So this is amongst the best code that we have seen for today. And he says import typing. That's a good practice. From typing import final is a bad practice. What we have been writing, it pollutes the namespace. But अभी ये polluting का concept पता नहीं, इसलिए मैं बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. But just अगर मैं कह रहा हूँ this technique is good and this technique is not that good, तो इसका आंसर क्या है? आंसर बता के रखता हूँ. Explanation I'll give later. When we write like what Harsh has written, ऐसे this statement pollutes the namespace and this does not pollute the namespace. अभी इतना ही काफी है. Because when I come to namespaces, I'll tell you what you mean by pollution. ये pollution किस बात का होता है? तो wherever possible, ये ऐसा करिए import typing. But import typing करोगे तो I cannot refer to final directly. I'll say typing.final. थोड़ा सा काम बढ़ जाएगा, but that's good. That's good. Avoid importing elements of a module. Import the module. Typing is a module. Module को import करो. And to refer to the items inside that module, use module name dot item. A module name dot item, whatever may be the item. It can be class, it can be variable, it can be function, it can be anything.
सर एक क्वेश्चन था.
बोलिए.
इन केस अगर एक हेवी लाइब्रेरी है लाइक पांडास, तो उसमें से बस हम लोगों को डेटा फ्रेम ही इंपोर्ट करना है, बाकी कुछ नहीं चाहिए. तो इन दैट केस कौन सा, मतलब पांडास इंपोर्ट करना चाहिए और इंपोर्ट df from pandas?
I still say import pandas, and import pandas करते समय pandas लिखने में टाइम जाएगा. I
PD.
can say, I can give it a short name, alias we call it as.
Mhm.
So that type करते समय pnds dot data frame लिखने की जरूरत नहीं. I
In
can
that
just say,
same script, अगर multiple heavy libraries use हो रहे हैं तो
so I'll actually ये जो technique है ना, it should be avoided wherever possible.
okay.
From typing import final should be avoided wherever possible. जहां तक हो सके इसे avoid ही करो.
बट एक्चुअली मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि अगर हेवी लाइब्रेरीज है तो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस क्या रहेगा?
मैं वही कह रहा हूँ, ये avoid करो मतलब यही यूज करो.
ओके
This does not bring the entire library in the current scope. अगर आपको लगता है कि इसे पूरी लाइब्रेरी करंट स्कोप में आएगी तो बिल्कुल नहीं है. Okay, it
Okay.
only brings this name in the current scope so that we can refer to the items inside this library individually.
ओके सो बेसिकली पूरा लाइब्रेरी इंपोर्ट नहीं होता है इससे.
ये इंपोर्ट है ना C++ के इंक्लूड के जैसा नहीं है. इंपोर्ट कहा तो सब कुछ आ गया, नो. तो there is a big, I'll talk about this import later. This import is confusing because we use this statement in C++, we use this import statement in Java, and we are using in Python. So this is more like Java. It only makes that module accessible, nothing else.
ओके
Okay, it doesn't get the contents of the module in the current scope. नहीं रहता है. It only makes that module accessible. तो if your module is accessible, so I'll say module dot member जिसे हम लोग access कर सकते हैं.
ओके थैंक यू.
तो आप जो heavy की बात कर रहे हैं ना, इसी में प्रॉब्लम आएगा या older versions of C++ में आएगा, जहां आप hash include कहते हो तो पूरी की फाइल include हो जाती है. So this is not like include in C and C++. Okay, so this is a better approach to use it. I'll talk in more detail about it. I'll also give a demonstration about it when we learn concept of modules in Python. The war we did everything, but this is the best way. So full marks for Kaustav. Then we also had few more submissions. When you solve a solution, means when you come with a solution, I have been telling you right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Important है कि आप submit करो, check करना, discuss करना, ये मेरी जिम्मेदारी है. But if you don't share, then how can I help you? तो आपका काम है share करना. And fear of failure is the biggest hurdle in to master programming. वो क्या सोचेगा, वो क्या सोचेगी, हमें उससे कोई मतलब नहीं है. Let's look what Rahul has done. He defines age limit, minimum age limit for work 18, max age limit for work 60. Age, please enter age of the citizen to check work eligibility in years. अरे बाप रे, ठीक है. Age greater equal to minimum age for limit for work and age less equal to minimum for and you are able to work. Good. That's also right. So I don't see anything wrong. Let's see who else had submitted the code. Monica has submitted the code. Let's have a look at Monica's code. Let's see what's wrong over here, whether it's right. G2 has defined two variables, enter the age of the candidate in years, age greater than equal to minimum age for work and less than equal to max age for work. It's correct. क्या गलत है? You mean doesn't work?
रन केल्यावर सिंटॅक्स एरर येतो, इनव्हॅलिड सिंटॅक्स सांगतो.
सर
On line number which?
लाइन नंबर 8 पे एरर आएगा सर. 8 से कंपेयर नहीं किया ना.
Age से compare नहीं देखा, यहाँ age ही नहीं डाला.
Okay.
That's a common mistake.
ओके.
Okay, यहाँ लिखना चाहिए था age. Now ये नहीं डाला आपने और आपको and करना था. तो Monica reminds me of one more technique that is available today in Python. देखो कई बार गलती भी आपको एक नई टेक्निक के बारे में याद दिलाता है. There is a special way to write this particular thing. Okay, so how could we handle this situation? Okay, so for me to handle that situation, I said there is a special case. So let me just give you a demonstration about what is that special case that we can use to handle such a situation. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, let me open up the example for you. With all the validations. And I'm going to show you one more technique in which we can specify that age, how it can be done. And if I am a person who is as lazy as Monica, then what we can do? Lazy in terms of typing. Huh? Laziness at times is good. I'll tell you techniques where lazy evaluation is preferred. There are different types of evaluation. It just reminds me of something. In some cases, we should be lazy. We should do that task only if it is required to be done. Some cases we should be eager. That means we should be eager to do the task. I'm not talking in general life, in programming. Huh? I'll be telling you what is the concept of laziness and eagerness in terms of code. That means evaluation of code. Just keep those things in mind. So there is a concept of lazy evaluation, and there is also a concept of eager evaluation. Okay. What we have been doing is eager. Sometimes it is better if you have an opportunity to do lazy evaluation. But I'll talk about this. I'll give you in detail later. Here we go. So we said from typing import final, import sys. I'm saying final, minimum age 18, max age 60. I say, what's your age in years? I accept the age. But note, I did not convert into integer, it's a string. So I'll say if age dot digit, if not age dot digit is digit, I'll say error input should be in integer format, sys dot err mein hum log error message err mein where and the program stops. So let's run this code. And I enter the input. I say, what's your age? I say, I'm 2 years old. Kehta hai, error. Input should be an integer form. An exception has occurred. Use TB to see this thing and so on. System.exit. Because of system.exit, exception has occurred. But this error message has got printed. So we have stopped. The program has stopped over there itself. Okay. And I'll say system.exit of 0 for a moment. Let's see. I run the code once again. What's your age? I say TWO. It says input should be in integer format. Error. Error message has been printed. Okay. Here I'm saying everything is okay. Actually, everything is not okay. But I'm just saying everything is okay. 0 means everything is okay. Non-zero value, something has gone wrong. But let it be so. Because I do not know yet exception handling. Ab tak humne nahi sikha hai. So till that I will say exit 0. Let me enter the age that is correct format. Somebody's age is 56. Okay, so 56 hai, to kehta hai greater than or equal to not supported with an instance of integer and string. So here when I'm comparing, this is string. String cannot be converted integer. So it should be converted to string integer first. So I'll say age is equal to int of age. So whatever is the age that you had earlier accepted, that was a string. So we convert into integer and then we compare. Okay, so let's do that. Again, I enter value as 56, but this time it should work correctly. 56. Kehta hai, you're eligible to work, you're eligible to work. Do baar kyun keh raha hai? This is what all of you have done. Okay, so let's jump start from here so that I can show you a special case. Here I run the code. Sorry, this is not the way to run the code. So I'll stop and I debug the code once again. Here we go. We have been asked, what's your age in years? I say my age in years is suppose 50. Is 50 greater than or equal to 18? True or false?
True.
True.
And 50 less than or equal to 60?
True.
True and true. Answer is true. So we go inside and we say print you are eligible to work. ये हमने print कर लिया. You are eligible to work. But the same condition could have been written in this fashion. Okay, what Monica had written, I said lazy है, ज़्यादा बड़ा statement and नहीं लिखना चाहती थी दोबारा. So I could just say minimum age less than or equal to age and age less than or equal to max age. और उल्टा age greater than, this is how we read. Minimum age is less than or equal to age and age is less than or equal to max age. And so and condition है, so you can just write in this special way. Okay, and that's also true. So that's also true. You'll say you are eligible to work and we come out. So that was a special case for and statement that we have. So let us come to this special case where we avoid writing and. For special cases, case 2 testing whether a number falls within a certain range, so a number was within the range, we don't have to use the and operator at all. So instead of writing marks greater than or equal to 50 and marks less than 65, you could just say 50 less than or equal to marks and marks less than 65. You say and, but write it only once. So you eliminate the use of writing and. This is a simple Pythonic way of that. This is what we had written, all of us had written earlier, was done in all the programming language. And Python guys write in this fashion. They want to write as less as code possible. जहां तक code कम कर सके करना चाहते हैं. We say 50 less than or equal to marks and marks less than 65. Okay. While we read, we say and, but while writing, we don't say and. Okay. So that's just take a snapshot of this for your reference. So this is something which is available. Special case for avoiding and. या दो एग्जांपल लिखे हैं, तो ये दो एग्जांपल भी काफी है. Marks greater than equal to 50 and marks less than 65. Instead, we could just write 50 less than equal to marks and marks less than 65. So you don't have to use and. That's a simple way to write it. Note कर लिया सबने?
Yes, sir.
So that's how you could change the way of writing the program. So there are options which are available, how to express our idea. Now what I'll do is I'll also share that solution with all of you. But before that, let me also see if somebody else had submitted. Vikrant has also submitted the code. So let's have let me have a look at his code first. What has it done? Okay, everybody have a look here. What mistakes you should not commit. What is Vikrant saying? Minimum age for worker final int चाहिए था equal to 60 years. Units are never given when you define constants. No units. तो ये year नहीं चाहिए, 12 year नहीं चाहिए. Final क्या है? Int चाहिए. Int input what's your age? What's the यहाँ bracket का रह गया. That means here we needed to have one more bracket. Because आपने एक bracket use किया, ये दूसरा bracket use किया, तो यहाँ closing के लिए भी दो bracket चाहिए. Since you have one opening bracket over here, देखिएगा आपका ये one opening bracket है, या another opening bracket है, तो दो closing bracket भी चाहिए. And condition कहाँ है? यहाँ condition चाहिए था. Here तो if condition चाहिए था. So as what we had written earlier, if age greater than equal to this and less than that, then you are eligible to work. Else you are not eligible to work. So else के लिए यहाँ colon चाहिए था. You have to make use of all the syntaxes which is there. So this was a wrong answer. Syntactically very wrong. Because you do not check for a condition, Vikrant. So condition check nahi karoge. So how will you know whether this operation is to perform or not to be performed? So checking for condition was something which is very necessary. Understood, Vikrant?
Yes, sir.
So let me share the solution with all of you. क्या नाम कहा मैंने मेरे प्रोग्राम का था? And special.
Sir, please share Kaustubh solution also.
ये लीजिएगा. I shared the solution that I discussed right now, last one, because it has combination of both what Kaustubh has done plus the special scenario for and. Have you all received the solution?
Yes.
No. I'll be calling off the session early today. I'll not take a match case today. Rather, first what I'll demonstrate to you is another construct that is available in Python. And that construct is called as a ternary operator. What we have been using so far are more of unary operators or binary operators. Binary because they operate on two operands. But sometimes we also have something called as ternary operator. As the name says, it operates on three operands at a time. तीन इस पे एक साथ काम करेगा, तो we call it as a ternary operator. Okay. So let's understand what is that concept of ternary operator that we can use. Let me first take an example. No, not take an example. Go through the concept, and then we'll take an example for ternary operator. Okay, and I'll show all the possible ways in which the ternary operator could be put to use. So let's start with ternary operator, ternary expression. Ternary means three operands hai. If I say A greater than B, there are only two operands, A and B. Ternary means there will be three. How do you read this? It says something like this. On true, if expression, else false. So the basic idea of using Python is to reduce the number of lines. So the entire if-else construct can be represented in one line. So how do I read this? If the expression evaluates to true, execute this part. If the expression evaluates to false, execute this part. So conditional expressions, sometimes called as ternary operator, have the lowest priority of all the Python operators. So this will get evaluated at the last ternary one. So it says the expression is X if C, that means if the condition is true, expression X, else it is Y. First evaluate the condition C rather than X. If X is true, X is evaluated. यानी expression अगर true है तो ये evaluate होगा और expression false है तो else वाला part evaluate होगा. If C is true, X is evaluated and its value is returned. Otherwise, Y is evaluated and its value is returned. So this statement will explain you what it does. The idiom is unsafe and not recommended to be used. Okay, a lot of chances of errors, so we'll not use it. But since it is there, if somebody uses it, you should not get confused. So you will say, if the condition is true, execute the statement on the right-hand side, left-hand side. If the condition is false, execute the statement on the right-hand side. So I will say, if the number to check mod 2 equal to 0 hai, तो message even hai, else message odd hai. But then it just brings that statement from multiple lines to a single line. We can use it tuple as well. Condition डालोगे, अगर ये condition true है, तो first element of the tuple, 0th element of the tuple, false है तो 0th element, and true है तो second element of the tuple will get executed. On false, on true are two elements of the tuple. तो अगर condition true है, तो on false, condition false है, तो on false, condition true है, तो second value of the tuple. So how do you read this? Element in the index, first index is accessed when the given condition becomes false, and the element in the second index is accessed when the condition becomes true. So let's see some examples to understand this particular behavior. And let's jump ahead with some examples. Here you are. Watch it carefully. I ask you to enter age in integer. Okay. Now, I'll say if number mod 2 equal to 0, if this condition is true, return even. That will get stored in this message. If this condition is false, then else के आगे जो रहेगा, that will be returned and will get assigned to this variable called as message. So let's run this code. We are here. Look at our variables. We are at line number 11 right now. It asks us, please enter integer. I enter integer as 12. 12 is an even number. Watch it. 12 is a number that I have entered. That's an even number. Here we check. If 12 mod 2 equal to 0, is this true or false?
True.
True है. तो ये even will get stored into this message. देखो यहाँ message में even आ चुका है. Can you see over here? And now when I print the result, it will print the number is even. 12 is even. Alternatively, क्या लिख सकता था मैं? So instead of writing in this fashion, I could say if number mod 2 equal to 0 है, तो print even directly. Print even directly. Else print odd. So I could execute this entire print statement if this condition is true, and if this condition is false, I'm going to execute this print statement. So I don't even have to store the result into a variable called as message. आ गया even. Likewise, अगर a का value a का value 7 है, b का value 8 है, so these are two variables. Unpacking का concept use कर रहे हैं हम लोग. 7 and 8 are tuple unpacked into variable a and b. So I'm checking, is a less than b, true or false?
True.
True है. So this will get executed. So watch it. It should say a is smaller than b. A is smaller than b. Then here I'm saying score less than equal to 50. अब score क्या है आपके पास variable? Okay, I'm asking the user to enter the score out of 100. So if user is asked to enter the score out of 100, somebody's score is 70. So we check. यहाँ लिखा आपने एक टपल के साथ score greater than equal to 50 है. True or false? 70 greater than equal to 50 है. बोलो जल्दी 70 greater than equal to 50 है?
Yes.
Yes. So tuple 1 will get evaluated, that is pass, and that will get stored into result. और अगर प्रिंट करोगे तो रिजल्ट इज पास कहेगा. इफ दिस कंडीशन इज फॉल्स तो इंडेक्स 0 मतलब फॉल्स ना, और 1 मतलब ट्रू. ये टपल का 0th एलिमेंट है और ये टपल का फर्स्ट एलिमेंट है. तो देखिएगा अगर ये मेरा टपल है, इफ दिस इज माय टपल, वॉच इट, ये अगर मेरा टपल है, टपल के अंदर का 0th एलिमेंट क्या है? फेल है. और टपल के अंदर का फर्स्ट एलिमेंट क्या है? ट्रू, पास है. दैट मीन्स इफ द कंडीशन इज फॉल्स, 0 मतलब first element of the tuple and 1 matlab second element of the tuple. 1 is true, so that will get returned. It could be working with list as well, because ये tuple के लिए pass fail ऐसे आ रहा है. Even if it was list, the same student thing would have happened. देखो, if this was a list, if this is a list, then also it works in the same fashion. So it's not just using tuple, it's also using list. I'll say score greater than 35. अभी तो 75 है, 75 greater than 35, condition is false. Okay. True है, 75 है. 75 greater than equal to 35, condition is true. True मतलब 1. तो ये 0th एलिमेंट है, ये 1 है, तो will return you pass. ये देखिए पास आ गया. You can also use the dictionary. 76 है. I'm saying score greater than equal to 75 है क्या? Condition is true. ये 76 है, ये true है. तो अगर ये true है तो pass, अगर ये false है तो ये fail. Order doesn't matter, your choice. So this is far more specialized way. Pass कह रहा है, यहाँ लिखे score greater than 75. मैंने कहा false है तो fail है, true है तो pass है, dictionary है, so it will work correctly. Both the cases it says false. So most meaningful is this, and the shortest one are this. This is the shortest way to write it. Plus using tuple or list is another shorter way to write it. This is fail safe because it makes it very clear. अगर ये condition true है तो ये, और false है तो ये. Whereas other places you should understand index 0 is false, index 1 is true. If this condition is true, we return value at index 0, 1. And if this condition is false, return the value at index 0. That's how it works. So have you understood this use of ternary operator in Python? Or ternary expression, it's not an operator, it's an expression actually. Yes, everybody.
Hello, sir.
बोलिए.
Sir, I also saw someone writing for loop in variables.
Okay. That's
Same
not
fashion,
variables.
sir.
That's called as comprehension. So that we'll
Okay.
see later. I have not discussed list comprehension. It looks like writing in variable. It's not writing in variable.
Okay.
It's the जैसे यहाँ, I'll just explain in short. Here also it's more like a comprehension only, more like a comprehension. Here, if you had noticed in this line number 11, ये statement execute होने पर इसका जो भी result है got assigned to this.
Yes.
So likewise, जहाँ आपने for loop देखा, that the entire result would have got assigned to that variable on the left hand side.
Yes. Right.
Okay, so okay, remind me, I'll be discussing later something called as list comprehension. Note कर रखो उसे क्या कहते हैं. It's called as list comprehension. It's list, tuple, dictionary, सबके साथ कर सकते हैं. But the common term is list comprehension. So that comprehension concept can be applied to other concepts. So अब तक हमने iterative construct नहीं देखे ना. So I have not shown. Probably in the next session we'll start with iterative construct. So it will be time for us to look into those features as well. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to one module today. Okay, I'll introduce you to a module today. And once that module has been introduced to you, you have to make use of that particular module. Did I share this if ternary with you all?
Yes.
A ternary share kiya na? Okay. Now let's look into a concept of randomness that is available. Now why am I discussing? Because the next example that you are supposed to solve actually makes use of this concept of, has to make use of concept of random. So there is a module called as random that is available in Python. So let me introduce you to this particular module called as a random. Here you go. Let me close this. And let me start with a module called as a random. So I go to python.org and we go to documentation, we go to Python doc, and we explore something called as random, random. It says a module called as random. Here you go. What it says, this module implements zero random number generator for various distribution. तो आपको random number generate करने के लिए इसका इस्तेमाल करेंगे. So if I say random.seed and if I give some seed, okay, initialize the random number generator, it will generate a random number for you. There are some various important methods which are there. One of the important method that you should take is a random int. So if I say random.randomInt a comma b, in that case, it will generate a random number n such that n is greater than or equal to a and less than or equal to b. That means it will generate a random number in the range of a to b. Correct? In the range of a to b. A random hai. Then there is another function called as random.random. Returns a next random floating point number in this particular range. Range क्या है? 0.0 से लेके 1.1 तक. या greater than or equal to 0.0, whereas less than 1.1, 1.0. Okay, so you could explore other things as well, but ये दो function की अभी फिलहाल हमें जरूरत है. So it's a random number generator. Okay. 3.11 population must be sequence, automatic conversion set in list is no longer supported. Okay. That's some more changes that is happening in 3.6. Let's look at random number. So I say import random. I imported the module. I say random.random. So I get some random number. I'm going to print the random number. Let's jump to this particular line and let's see a random number that gets generated. We are here. So we say random.random and we see the random number. Have you got the random number? But it's a floating point number. It's not integer. Can you see that? In the range of 0.0, say start hote hue less than 1.0. So this is definitely less than 1.0. Now if I say random int 1, 100, it will generate a random number where 1 is also inclusive, 100 is also inclusive. So it will generate a random number within in the range of 1 to 100. Again, random number was 75. I say random.choice Dhruva. Now what does it say? Returns a randomly selected element from a non-empty sequence. So Dhruva mein DURVA Dhruva. तो ध्रुवा में these are 5 characters. तो ये sequence है. उस sequence में से एक कोई alphabet आपको एक कोई value return करेगा. So it has returned us. Let's see. Random.choice. What is returning? It returns a randomly any value. Likewise, if I have a list that I passed to the choice, so any sequence can be passed. Here it was a string. That's a sequence of values. It's a list. So any random number will be picked up. 1 था case में ये 1 था यहाँ. Then I have a list of strings. Fruit list. Apple, mango, guava, banana. तो इसमें से कोई एक fruit ले लेगा. It has taken guava. Then I say a random range. I say start is equal to 1, stop is equal to 10, step value is equal to 1. Returns randomly selected from the range start. The value of start value is 0 by default. Similarly, the value of step value is 1 by default. Stop and तो ये बहुत बड़ा statement हो गया. Created by the start, stop. Let me just take it on the next line. The value of start and stop is default ये है. Similarly, the step value by default is 1. The start value is by default is 0. And it returns a random number selected from the element range created from the range of start, stop and step. तो ये start 1 है, stop 10 है, step 1 है. तो 1 से लेके 10 में से कोई तो एक random number आपको generate करके दे देगा. Let's stop over here and do it again. Here we are at this line. So we can directly jump to that line. Watch it. So it will give you random number. क्या number दिया? 5 दे दिया. I say random range 10. So 10 becomes the value for stop. Start is by default 0. So 10 to 0 to 10 के बीच का एक value 6 दे दिया. Now I say 5 is start, 10 is stop. तो 5 to 10 के बीच में का value देगा. 9 दे देगा. I say start, stop and 5. Oh, 5 step value. यानी from 10 to 100 with every alternate value is in the multiples of 5, step by 5, तो 10 दे सकता है, 15 दे सकता है, 25 दे सकता है, any such value will be returned. So it is return you 15, multiple of 5 में जाएगा भी. So I can just give step value. Step value by default is 1. I can say step value is 5 as well. मेरे पास एक number list है. मैंने number list print कर लिया. If I say random dot shuffle number list, तो shuffle will shuffle the list. All the elements in that list will get shuffled. देखिएगा, ये वही numbers है, but they have been shuffled. उनका order change हो चुका है. Random dot shuffle number list दोबारा change कर रहे हैं. And when you print it, it's again a different list that gets printed. Every time you can shuffle a list. So this was about a random module. So I have explored functions like random int, choice, then random range, and shuffle. So important functions, concepts from random I have covered up. आप सोचते रहोगे क्यों कवर किया है? Because अपना assignment उस पे based है अभी. So have you understood this concept of random, everybody? Quick feedback. Have you understood this random number generator? Sunita, आपको समझ में आ गया क्या?
So not completely. What I've-
क्या डाउट है बताइए?
So now I have to go through it once more.
Okay, but उसमें कुछ भी डाउट रहेगा तो immediately पूछा करो.
Okay, sir.
ये random है. It will just generate some random number in that range. If I use random range, if I say random only start, stop and step value, तो it will create a sequence with that start, step and step value. Step value से एक sequence create करेगा. उसमें से कोई एक number आपको pick करके दे देगा.
Okay.
A random int will give a random integer. A random dot random will give a floating value in the range of 0.0 to less than 1.0. So all those things are there. So
Okay.
go through that example. I have shared that example with you all. और आपके लिए एक assignment अभी. And कल आते समय वो last वाला भी assignment solve करना है. और ये वाला भी assignment solve करना है. And it's important because इसके पीछे वजह है, ये important क्यों है? The reason is very simple. That it will help you master the concepts that we have learned so far. So take a snapshot of this assignment. Here we go. It says the program randomly generates two digit number. यानी आपको एक random number generate करना है जो 2 digit का हो. अब 2 digit का random number कैसे आएगा? Think about it. And prompts the user to enter 2 digit number. So you should generate one number randomly and ask the user to generate another 2 digit number and determine whether the user wins according to the following rules. Lottery hai. If the user's input matches the lottery in exact order, reward is 10,000. That means अगर random number 73 था और user ने भी 73 enters, then your prize is 10,000 rupees. If all the digits in the user input matches all the digits in the lottery number, the reward is 3,000. यानी input random number was 72. You entered 27. So digits are matching. 7 into दोनों digits है. In that case, you get 3,000. If one of the digit matches, that means the random number was 72. You entered 25. One digit is matching. Or you entered 71. One digit is matching 7. So in that case, you get 1,000 rupees. Otherwise, you don't get anything. So take a snapshot of this particular thing and be ready for the. So be ready with the solution next time when you come. I am sharing the solution as problem statement. मिल गया आपको problem statement? Chat window में? अरे yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So download करो. मैंने image करके format में आपको share किया है chat window में. Just download and keep it ready with you. And somebody please post it onto the group as well. So I told you I'll stop early today. So we have almost done with the selection construct. Only a new feature that was recently added in Python 3.11. Oh, sorry, 3.10. That is one thing which is missing. Others, we have done everything that Python has in selection construct. So tomorrow's session will be devoted for the new feature, but it will only be an introduction. I will not give you the detailed understanding because that requires some advanced concepts, which we'll be discussing later. So on that note, we'll stop over today. कल का जो असाइनमेंट सिर्फ हर्ष ने सॉल्व किया वो भी करना है आपको, वो भी करना है. And in addition to that, ये आज का assignment वो भी करना है. 2 चीजें आपको करना है. The previous assignment. Harsh, please post that assignment question onto the previous assignment that you have solved onto the group. So those who are not having the question, they can solve. Plus ये lottery का example solve करके आना है. Lottery will be very important because I want to see how in different ways you can solve it. Then we'll think about what is the best way to solve this particular example. So don't miss tomorrow's session because I will take up 2-3 ways in which this example can be solved. And then we'll figure out which is the best way to solve this particular example. So apply your mind. First solve it the way idea comes to your mind and then think, can I do something better? Ask yourself and try and solve it in a better way. So with that note, we'll stop here today. See you tomorrow at same time. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks.